You a charger? No. Dang, Cassie, you?
I don't. I charge my home website. I usually do it.
Have you ever do a charger?
No.
Sorry, ever? Probably not.
Come on.
Got it. Did you hear what I said?
Go back to like 7th grade.
Sorry, did you hear what I said?
Actually, I did. I was just using to annoy you. That way, I didn't say anything mean.
I use it? I don't know, but it's not
Oh.
Probably
yours?
What?
Your charger?
No. Well, actually, no.
No, well. No.
I'm at like 2% right now. I haven't charged it since last Monday.
Not like we use it in this class.
Huh?
Not like we use it in this class, though.
What was that word called?
I was eating mac and cheese for 16 years straight without stopping.
You had a book today
Today,
before?
Yeah.
finally
It
done
was
it.
to run from the log song.
My fries. T-Rex.
You know what? I'm running from the law.
I think I should. Why it's not good?
Probably got it. What?
What?
Tell me what.
Sorry, but it's chocolate jerky. You put anything on our water? We went over 2 problems. No, 2 problems.
3 problems.
No. I've watched like 8 people forget. Yeah, I can't remember. Trying to figure it out.
No, you. Cheers. And I just turned to read the page. Who has my notebook?
That's not sad. That's a very sad word. And she's like, we're not gonna be able to do this. Wow, I'm fucking going to Are you serious?
Connor,
What?
are you writing my notebook?
Huh?
Are you writing my notebook?
No.
I'm ready
That's
to go.
okay.
Let's put it around this thing. I open it up.
I was thinking like anything that we could have that we like shut down for her.
All right, hey, today we are going to get into a small assignment today, just based on this solving equation stuff. You have a couple where they're linear, a couple where you can factor them apart, some where you can use square roots, some where you can complete the square. It's kind of a mixed bag. There's a couple absolute value problems. It's kind of like just a small group of problems on each type. One of the problems we discussed last week was if they had square roots. Okay. So my goal today, I want to do at least one problem where we have to complete the square one more time, one problem where we have to do square roots, and if there's any other type, I'll make sure we go through an example of that. That's kind of our goal today. So let me put those different types up on the board here, and we'll see where we're going. So again, we're on section P.7. This is the last day of P7. This assignment that I'm going to hand out today will be due probably Wednesday this week. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we're going to be looking at the review, okay, on section 5, 6, and 7, okay, because we take a small quiz this week. We're going to take it Thursday. The reason why I want to give it Thursday, so that way Friday, if we need to finish it, we can do it Friday. The reason why is Monday next week, we have MAPS testing.
Really?
Yep. I always require my students to take MAPS testing, even if you're a senior or not, you are still taking MAPS testing. I want to see how you do, okay, so that's something you need to be mentally prepared for in my room, okay? So that's just something you need to know. Okay, but again, section P7, we are solving equations.
Where's When's got that?
Monday.
What classes are we taking for?
Thursday is English.
Thursday this week is English. And then
Really?
sciences is sciences is what? Is that Tuesday or Wednesday? Something like that? We spread them
I
out.
wouldn't
So.
be able to solve it.
Okay. Now again, the different types of equations. We had linear equations. We had quadratics, which the quadratics are the ones we've been kind of messing with. On quadratics, there's basically, can you factor? Can you do the square root idea? Can we complete the square? That's the one we're going to do today. The complete the square process is basically the square root. That's kind of the idea. So those are the main ones. I know that there's some where you can use like the quadratic formula. It's not a big deal. If you can do these, it's the same idea. And then the last ones, can we do something with an actual square root? or absolute value. That's a main one too. Let me just put that up here. Absolute value. And then the square root problems, where they don't look like the quadratics. It's not like it doesn't look like those forms. They actually have a square root right in the problem right away. These are the different forms. My goal today, I want to do at least a complete square problem, and I want to do a square root problem. That's what I want to cover today. If there's any other type that you're just like, I don't remember that, or I'm not comfortable with that type, and we see one more, I'll do one on the board before you start. Okay, make sense? So we're just going to kind of blitz through these so we have them. I'm just going to pick a problem out of the book. It could be a homework problem, so you might get a freebie. I have no idea. I'll give you guys kind of a free choice on it. The examples we've done, last Wednesday, Thursday, kind of Friday. Those examples, some of those were homework problems. You have some freebies already if you've taken notes. So, because I looked back at what I assigned, or what I actually wrote down versus the problems you guys picked in the class. All right, but let's start right in off the bat. Let's look at one of these quadratic formulas complete square problems. There we go. Let's go Spencer on the any problem 60, 70, 74. You can pick one of those. I'll sure which one. Say it out loud.
X squared plus 4x plus 1.
All right, so complete the square problem. All right, so to do this type of problem, what we need to do first is move the 1 over. We already have the x squared by itself. Everything's on one side, so we're going to move the 1 over, right? Make sense? Now, if there's a number in front of the x squared, you need to divide it out. So I divide a number out from the x squared. If we don't have one, we don't need to worry about it. Now, at this point, we take half the middle and square it. What's half the middle term? 2. Square it is 4. And that's what we're going to magically add to both sides. Now, the reason why we're doing that, why we're making up that 4, and I just give you the process for how you make those. So it's half the middle squared. The reason why is it'll make the left side factorable. That's why we're doing it. Because the 1 didn't work out earlier. There was no way to factor that problem originally. Okay? So there's no way to break that apart because 1 won't make 4 in the middle. So what we do is we take half the middle squared and make up that 4. Now this side is factorable because it'll actually turn out to be 2 perfect parentheses. And so it'll be plus plus, x and x, and then 2 and 2. Now what I always said is the shortcut is, I know what these numbers are going to be because the way we set this problem up, these 2 numbers are always going to be half the middle. That's how you know it. So even if that's a weird number, like a decimal or some sort, it's like an odd number, let's say it's 7, these numbers are going to be 7 over 2s because it's literally the half the middle number. That's how I know what it's going to be. That's why we create it. That's my little shortcut to use. You always remember what these 2 numbers are going to be. Now these do combine to a single parenthesis, right? This actually combines to be this. Usually I just jump to the chase and I just write it down from here to here because I kind of know there's going to be 2 exact parentheses that are the same, but it's not a big deal. On the other side, we do have to add that up. That is what? A negative. That is a positive 3. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns on this problem so far? You've basically got a majority of it done already. The last step is to get rid of power and then subtract the 2 over. So getting rid of this power of 2. Okay, if we take this power of 2 over, what happens? Say it again.
Oh, sorry. Square root.
Square root, yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking what's different.
So, yeah, we take the square root. Now, if that number can be broken down, like the 3 in there, can be broken down, you want to break that down. Right now, I know that there's not a way that we can do that, so we're going to leave that alone. Not a big deal. And the last step, like Connor said, move the 2 over, that will become a negative 2. That will be my last step. So negative 2 plus or minus square root of 3. So this answer, both answers, did turn out to be actual real numbers. It did turn out to be a weird square root with negatives. If this turns out to be a negative number, then literally there is no roots that make this thing 0 because you'd have like an imaginary number vector. So that's saying that there is not one that exists. Sometimes it does happen. But in our case, it is a real number. Now, they just happen to be irrational numbers. The square root of 3 is not a pretty number. It's like kind of like pi. This is crazy decimal. It goes on forever. It doesn't repeat. Doesn't end. It's irrational, and you're eventually going to add that or subtract that from negative 2. So it's going to make an even worse number. So that's the idea. So, all right. Any questions with this? How we did this process? I think you guys' class seen this quite a how we do this, like taking this power of 2 over, that is the square root idea. That's that easier process we did earlier. We just take power of 2 over and do the square root. But complete square is actually the preferred method of solving quadratics, other than just factoring. Okay, now, let's jump right to one of these square root problems. And if we need to, we can jump back and look at any other types that you're not comfortable with. The first few should go super fast. But yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, Val, I'm going to have you pick one out. You can pick any problem out from basically 115 to 124. You can pick any of those problems you like because they have square roots on them, correct? Okay.
Alright, square root 6x plus 1 equals x minus 1.
That? Okay, perfect. Alright, you can put that on the side of the board. Alright. So, for the square root, right? When we start this problem, what you want to do first, we want to get this square root by itself. So, do you agree that it's over by itself already? We don't need to move anything away from it. You can't move things that are underneath the radical house, like the actual radical sign. So these things have to stay in there for right now. So, but it looks like it is separated. So what I'm going to do now, this is the process we learned last week. You want to square both sides. I'm going to square this side, and I'm going to square this side. Now, if your problem has a couple different radicals, you're going to want to separate them out so you can square one side, square the other. That's kind of the idea. All right, so we're going to square this side. On the left side here, the power of 2 and the radical sign literally just cancel each other out. They're just opposites of each other. It's not a big deal. The other side, on the other hand, we do have to FOIL. There's 2 of those parentheses. Don't just distribute the power of 2. That's silly. Don't do that. You actually have 2 of those parentheses. We do have to FOIL it. Okay. I know I was going a little fast there, but does it make sense? We're squaring. That way, we get rid of radical signs, and now this problem should turn out to be nice and neat. If we need to, we can square on the problem, maybe, or maybe it'll be factorable. No idea. So we're gonna have to see what type of problem we're gonna have once we simplify this out a little bit. So we'll leave the 6x plus 1 alone for right now. I need to FOIL this right side out. Looks like it's gonna be an x squared minus 2 x's plus 1. If I actually FOIL that all out, first better than last. Do it in my head. And then I'm going to move everything to one side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to move everything. I'm going to move everything to the right side because the expert over here.
Tristan McKenna, please come to the office. Tristan McKenna.
Okay, so move these items over. If we do that, what we have is 0 on this side. We have x squared minus 8x, and we're going to subtract the 1 over, and it looks like the 1s are going to cancel out. So. Thanks, Mark. All right. Okay, so we got it so far. So the 1's canceled. This problem now, what we're left with, is factorable. We don't need to complete the square. We'll be able to find the answers that make this thing equal 0. The reason why I know it's factorable is because it's not a trinomial. So all we're looking at right now is just common factors. What do they have in common? X. So we're going to take the x out, so it's going to look like this. X minus 8. So I'm taking x from both of those out. And this is still equal to 0, right? So now what you're allowed to do is, once I pull the x out, now we can just read off what numbers make this into 0. Well, say it again. 8 and 0, yeah. Positive 8 or the number 0 itself. These are the numbers we're looking for. So there's 2 possible answers. Since there's a variable on the outside, we have to accommodate 0. The 0 plugging into the outside direction. Okay. Good? Yeah. All right. Now, my question to you. If looking at that little outline of our goal today, is there any particular type that you don't remember, you're not comfortable with, you'd like to see one example of it, we'll just pull in the book. Absolutely. Okay, so let's pick out a problem here. Doesn't really matter. All right. Pick any of the problems from 43 down to 54. Any of those in there, it doesn't really matter. These are all the absolute value problems. Ethan, what do you got?
In absolute value, it's 2x minus 1. And that equals 5.
That equals 5. Okay. All right, that's good. All right, so this is an absolute value problem. We agree that has absolute value right from the start. Goal is kind of the same as the last one we just did. You want to get the absolute value by itself if there's like some there's numbers on the outside of this thing, move them over to the other side, so we get this like this number over here. I don't even care if it's weird and it can be a decimal. If this number turns out to be negative, we have a problem. Then you would have no solution. The reason why is that when you take an absolute value of the number, what should you always get out? Positive. So if this turns out to be a weird negative number, either A, you did something wrong, or B, there's just no answer to that problem. Like you're doing everything correctly. So that's just like a little forewarning to you, because it should be positive. Question? There's two answers though. There's always two, because the inside could either turn out to be a positive 5, right? Or it could be a negative 5. And so yeah, so one of your answers might be 3, right? The other number could be a negative. Okay, yeah. So that's the idea. So you always have to accommodate for both, because when you take the absolute value of it, it has to turn out to be positive. Does that make sense? So yeah, so the rule is, and you've already figured out one of them, is just to take whatever's on the inside, 2x minus 1, set it equal to 5, or take the 2x minus 1 and set it equal to negative 5, because you have to remember, if this turns out to be negative 5, it still equals 5 when you take the absolute value. So there's always two answers, so positive or negative. So we solve, we'd add the 1 across, so that's 2x equals 6, divide by 2, you get 3, so that's one of your answers, like you said. Or, adding the 1 across, that's 2x equals negative 4, and you divide by 2, and you get x equals to negative 2. Like we also said. So there's two possible answers on each problem, because that's going to be either positive or negative on the inside. Makes sense. Now, what you should always do is make sure, especially on problems that you're not comfortable with, you're not sure you did it right, always plug them back in. See if it works. That's just something you need to realize. So if I plug in 3, yes, it makes 6, minus 1, which is 5, and the answer value is 5. If I plug in negative 2, that makes a negative 4, minus 1, which is negative 5, and the answer value of it is 5. So yes, they both work. That's just something like if you're really not sure, always plug them in. Makes sense. Okay, that'll be out. That's how you do any type of stuff. Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns on any of the outline problems that we've talked about since last Wednesday? All right, here's your homework today. Put it on the board. Move those up there if you have them. All right, so here's your homework. It's going to be due on Wednesday this week, because I want to make sure we have time to do review and stuff. So, it's due Wednesday. And they're quick. These problems are not difficult. I just picked out some of the basic ones, and in fact, a lot of them are probably the ones that are already done on the board. So, you've had notes, and you got kind of an easy way to do it. So, all right, 98, so that's your page. Page 98, we are doing numbers. 3 through 9 odd. Number 15 by itself. 21 through 24, those are all. We have 30 through 40 evens. Those are factoring problems. 45 through 49 odd. And then 6 through 60 even. 61 through 65 odd. I'm giving you a ton of odds because you can check the facts. Is that right? 68 through 72 even. There's only 3 points there. 100. 112. 116 and 122.
I'm so not so excited.
Yeah,
Like, we're like,
it
wow.
looks impressive. It's really not.
That's
There's
all.
what? There's
Yeah.
4, 5. There's 5 here. So we got 3 runs there. 18. So this is not that bad.
A lot.
It is. You could have done 1 through 122.
Do it.
Please no.
My grade
I
is
think that'd be
up
more
there.
work for you than us.
What?
It'd be more work for you than us.
My grade is a little upping. I wouldn't mind. What? Should get it down to this.
Just chunk it all off next time, Star.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a couple problems of each type. There's a couple, like the first ones are all linear, up through 15. Then 21 through 24 are factoring problems. Square roots come in, I think, 45 through 49. Complete the squares 56 through 60. 61 through 65 is the absolute value type problems, I believe. 68 through 72 is square root. routes, and then the last ones, like 150, 122 are free for all. It's like you just have to look and see what's your best approach. That's kind of how I feel. So they're not bad. Trust me, they go a lot faster than you think.
That's what they all say.
So they all say.
Really?
I think he had it memorized like a week before school started or something. Okay, so in our class, he would have us pick a random number and open up to that page. Well, he wouldn't, but we would. And he'd be able to tell us the last like actual word on it.
Because there's only like 10 possible.
No, there's a, it's not, it's like, there's a, Ryan puts it in it.
Ryan looked it up. There's like a trick.
Yeah. You plug it in, you like add
Ryan used to do it
by,
like that.
subtract by a certain number, then you like number like the words.
And then when Ryan figured it out, he could do it back.
And
Oh,
then,
really?
yeah, that's fun.
So,
They're probably
Basically,
different.
Ryan is a genius.
Basically,
Something we already know.
that's what we're trying to say.
and I got Skyrim working on my computer this week. And I installed a bunch of mods. And I crashed my computer. Yeah. And then I got it working again.
So I can't believe I did something on the test. It's still down there.
I think I got
What can you
7
do
hours
to
in
that?
yesterday if I remember
I'm gonna
correctly.
read.
I had that game. Huh?
That's what you
Had that game for a whole year. Haven't been able to play it.
Absolutely.
So Blaine
Spent 4 hours.
feels like he made it when he was that bad. Probably not.
It's
It's
like
coming in.
it's $10 for the game.
Sure would make it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm good. Free.
If I remember
Because amateur night. Literally, she got more than I did. So,
the legendary.
Shirley? No. Taylor Curtis. That sounds like a full name. You know he told me? It's like,
He's $1,000. It looks better than Borderlands.
I don't know why.
Borderlands.
actually said that.
Yeah, he said that he used the study work.
Borderlands 1 was
You still got it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably why.
And then
I'm
Kate
gonna
got
find some.
Kate got like a 48 too. Okay, so like I was gone and they were reviewed.
But I like that though.
He's like, you know what, Jack, can I stay if you're not ready? And I go, well, I don't have like study guide or anything. He's like, yeah, someone just said, everybody was testing, so they couldn't go to computers. So I'm like, what do I do? I don't have a study guide. He's like, just look at the PowerPoint. And that's super hard to understand. So I'm looking at PowerPoint.
You know,
I go, you know what? Whatever I know, I already know everything already. I'm just gonna learn it because I'm not gonna learn anything new. You know how to system in three. Wow.
yeah.
Let's see. Probably 3 whole letter grades down.
What all did you find?
Just draw like fermented or something. That's so easy.
It's like the one about the law.
Fermented, nominal,
One like,
uncommittal, and
it's like
pseudo.
this is
So
something
I'm
like
trying
that.
to figure out
Yeah. Oh, non-circuitous.
It was delicious. I see no spelling.
that's 20. CSGO is 10.
Sedation.
That's 30. Left of that is 1.5. 35.
You.
Huh?
What?
Yeah.
What?
So I'm like getting out my notebook, right?
Right.
Just average notebook.
Just in that.
I open it up. First page it comes to, it says no. I didn't even write it.
You didn't even write that.
Figured out.
I don't know who wrote it.
It was me.
It says know you.
No, you. It's like,
We had some of these. I think it was geometry. What, a year, 2 years ago, where somebody bought a notebook up at Dollar General, opened it up, and it was full. It was full of like notes and homework and stuff. So, and it was somebody that actually graduated from Garner, but it was like from like 4 years before that.
Wait, when did you buy?
It was one of the geometry students. It was either a year or 2 years ago. Went to Dollar General, bought a new notebook because they were running low, and they got to geometry class, and the notebook was full. It was already full. They just bought it. They had the receipt for it too, and they just bought it. It was full of notes from a kid that graduated 4 years before that.
Did he just go put his notebook back on the shelf?
I don't know. Like, they honestly don't know how that was even possible. And the kid was graduated like so many years before that we don't even have like a record of who it was, because after like so many years, like 2 or 3 years, they just delete all records. So.
Was that even here?
It's really smart.
If you're not in the school system, you actually graduate school.
I don't know.
Yes,
Do you?
No, you.
You can still fight at the tents.
Hey.
What?
You can still fight at the tents. You can fight it with it.
I want to get us the rooms, that way I can put stuff in the back, and I can put shelves in front of those, like, in the seating row. I'm probably gonna sell them. I'll probably install them for like $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I?
Brad, how you feel?
I need to upgrade to 15 inches. One 15-inch from Alpine is only $117.
Oh, is that it?
Wait, what?
Wait.
Get a lemonade stand going in front of his own house.
Huh?
Get a lemonade stand going. You don't have to pay that.
Bro.
Everybody loves lemonade.
If you really want to go for it.
Do you have a permit?
Do you have a permit for that?
What?
You have a permit?
You need a permit?
Do you have your lemonade stand permit, sir?
I tried to sell firewood once. You have your firewood permit? I'm like,
Multiplied by.
Did you really say that?
One,
Kinda like that on.
I'm not on it, though.
Multiplied by 20.
Oh, you just yourself firewood?
Firewood.
You have to
I
distribute.
don't know where I'm.
Because that makes things go this. That'd be the one thing that. Make sense?
I can literally fit maybe like 5 bags of groceries and that's it. That's what I do. My car's basically like my own trash.
The last 2 months.
It really is.
I decided to get extra. I had to stop in my
Well, I mean, when
machine stuff.
I give people sandwiches.
Leave all their crap in my car.
This spot is the driver's seat.
Remember sitting in
It's
the
not
back?
enough.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sit in the back.
Don't say everybody, because I've never done that.
Okay, I've given you a ride like once.
I just
Did I do it?
Hunter just
I did
assumed
not.
that everyone's
He
done.
just assumed that everybody did.
I did just this. No, I found like 6 water bottles in my car. I don't even bring water in the car.
Kid.
'Cause I don't need it.
Everyone was drinking.
We're all sharing 2 pieces. You don't have strike.
See, that's gonna suck for you because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to take out.
And that's why
You're gonna have to take out your radio, connect.
I just did a ton of work for a problem that
Me
never
and
much work.
my dad for only like an hour and a half. But we already had cable set up from the radio going out to speakers.
Sorry to bore you.
It was a lot more work for us.
I could do a
Hey,
kind.
Tyler. Those headphones sound good. Even wireless.
What?
Those headphones sound good. Like the wireless version.
They are wireless.
You just
I
put 'em on.
just put them on so I can't hear Tyler. No, not that.
Oh.
Yeah, Teal. I'm
trying
trying
to-
to watch a
Oh.
movie here.
Never get.
Someone
trying to sell me some
So we tried to watch a movie at my church the other day. I talked the whole time.
No, Derek was talking the whole
Yeah,
time.
Derek was talking.
Derek was being so
When you
mad.
sit next to Tyler, this is what happens.
I didn't know what happened in that movie.
No,
Well, I do.
it was the last 5 minutes, the only thing I understood.
Like when that one guy started talking before, and I was like, so.
I couldn't understand
No,
you.
he's not talking.
I think I hit a sore subject.
You did.
No, Teal, I understand. You should have been paying attention to the movie and not me.
am.
She's got a point.
I don't even know how you're doing this.
Okay, now you. It's always up.
Yeah. Should I have multiplied the other two?
I'll probably listen to like class. Played on Oregon.
You got call psych? Ryan said you have 60. So he told me right before, right before I got this beard, Ryan came up, he was, I took him to the test, what, he was 68 in college.
I gotta figure this best
Stop talking and start studying.
Worst case scenario, I'm gonna die. And don't worry about it.
I might. This ag test, I'm kind of mad about it.
You're upset?
Very.
Grinding your gears. Well,
Good.
grinding your gears.
Yeah, because not everybody had Drew to cheat off of.
Drew like cheated off me.
I'm sure.
Watch. No, I thought of you yesterday.
Guarantee you got hung.
Or,
Yeah.
is it a red?
You're in my class.
Oh, I am.
What'd you get?
Yeah, so coming out like a 40%.
The whole time? Sure would use the study guide on the test, and you got 48. Yes.
And then he just looked off me to it.
Chase got 70, like.
Oh, we'll see what happens. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me, Kate, and Sean were really taking that.
I thought of you today.
Me?
Me, Kate, and Sean were
Bigger than his entire body.
Yeah, they're always in the top. So the one that we do, show me the one.
Like how the duck has ears for what it's.
I just put the,
We have the draft.
Is that fine, or do you want? I thought we could fit better if we just. Okay. All right, I'll switch that. No.
Sean, what'd you get?
Felt like they're forgotten about.
Well, Chase.
You guys always ran behind.
You used the quiz and you still got them?
No.
Your quiz went.
Yeah, but like, some of those questions are.
I thought Chase said, can you make some of mine? He was like, "No, you forgot to."
Yeah, sure would use the quiz. Like I said.
We were both, we have no time to go on.
So those nice old quizzes that were not actually
All 60.
Jack, are you doing it?
I wrote down the
Problem wasn't that bad.
Thank you. Yep. And then second, just keep that one and give it to me next year. I'll do it.
Or, if x equals what the restriction is, what are the restrictions?
Yes, thank you.
Is that solution? It
So,
works.
no, it's not a solution, it's just that can't be one of the solutions.
I got
After we distribute the formula, what do I do that?
What?
After we distribute the formula, what's the next step?
Well, you should, like on that problem where you have like the 21, there was a 7 on the bottom, you should 21 divided by 7 equals
For us to do experience.
that way it's just a whole number, and then you can distribute that.
We have 21 in the lab. Back in the
Oh my God.
You're right.
Like, go away. They weren't funny, but it was. I know. Hey, as long as we don't get last. So last year we beat the like run, but
This is the problem I did last year.
I did, but I didn't.
I don't think it did.
yeah. So basically you go.
Or, oh, I see.
That was stage trophy.
You have to distribute the negative sign.
So let's, I don't know,
They get
but if you multiply by 21, right? Multiply by 21.
What?
So that's a common denominator. This will simplify with a 7 to make 3, and you're actually just distributing a 3 to the top.
Gosh.
Over here, the 21 and the 3 simplify to make 7, and you're distributing the 7 to the top.
No, we don't have
I
to.
gotta get.
Oh, shoot. Draw this one, draw this one.
That's your problem, there's no fraction.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get to, try to get away from fraction.
Mask is in the comment.
What? Like, it's a little bit after 8. I might swing by like in 5 minutes. What time would it be? First Monday every month? Yeah, I might swing by. I start like 5 minutes. What's Ryan? Oh,
Tyler, don't mind me. I'm sitting at the normal site this period.
yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Big deal.
Nick is so cheesy. So boring.
I wish.
Taylor, are you gonna take social next semester?
Yeah. Actually, no, I'm taking psychology.
Because how boring is this?
It's boring.
I'm taking child development next semester.
Social is so boring. It's not.
I think actually you're gonna do like problem fun stuff, like brain teasers,
Yeah,
like
we're
for
doing
like
brain
10
teasers.
minutes.
You know what we do?
Alan,
Last week,
star, answer it right
because Alan
away.
and Star answer it right away.
You.
Then you guys make it so brain teasers take 3 minutes and we have to actually learn. Yeah.
You always answer it right away.
Star, today I want you to act like you don't know what you think you do.
No, please know it because
Wait, don't know
sometimes
what?
we don't get it, like at all. Most of the time they're just, you know, like, I know a lot of the word problems. I like word problems. One time you said the T common sense.
No, it's logic.
It's
logic.
I walked in, somebody was putting the picture.
Insulting. I'm just saying, you know, most of the time
Actually,
it's logic
actually,
problems.
logic
Hey
is
Taylor, they played
Sorry.
Pictionary
What?
last week.
Logic is a rapper.
kidding me? We played
So it's not logic unless you're learning about a rapper in psychology. Oh my god. You're gonna be taking notes from that. You're gonna flip and it's just gonna be right there. Where's my other one? I don't even know how the hell that happened here. Boy.
You need your books there.